Volvo has signed up Jeremy Lin to endorse its cars, a move it hopes will boost sales around the globe, including in China. I'm Deborah. You're watching Asia Today. I'm joined by Josh Chin, China Real-Time editor based in Beijing. Okay, so Josh, Volvo hasn't really disclosed how much they're paying Jeremy Lin, but how much would an athlete like him be worth?
Deborah, that's an interesting question. I mean, it's difficult to say in China and the U.S. because they're very different markets. I think one benchmark here might be Yao Ming in his early days when he was just sort of starting out in the NBA in 2003. He signed an endorsement deal with China Unicom that was for $30 million a year, which basically I think at the time was roughly equivalent to about $4 million. As an endorsement deal for them. Yao Ming was a different athlete, a different figure at the time. He was a much bigger star in some ways than Jeremy Lin is now. So that probably, as a benchmark, is at the high end. So I think we probably assume it's a little bit less than that, but possibly not an insignificant number.
So how smart of a move is this by Volvo, and how much is really being driven by the fact that Volvo wants to boost its sales in China?
Volvo is definitely making a big push for added sales in China. I mean, globally, their aim is to double car sales to 800,000 by 2020. And China is a big part of that. Obviously, it's got a huge growing car market. And they sold, I think, 47,000 around there cars in China last year, which was up 50% from the year before. So they're definitely counting on China for growth. And Jeremy Lin is a big figure. He's got a lot of attention in China. People really love him. So as a spokesman, it definitely makes a lot of sense for them. And in addition, Volvo is owned now by Zhejiang Geely, one of China's largest private automakers, and they're based in Zhejiang, which is where Jeremy Lin's maternal grandmother, I believe, is from. So there's a bit of a hometown connection there with Geely, and presumably they're going to try to exploit that.
So Lin really started out on a winning streak at the beginning of this season. That stalled at times. Does that really matter in mainland China, or will Jeremy Lin always be a star?
Well, actually, I mean, recently, the New York Knicks, the team Jeremy Lin plays for, have been doing quite well. Their head coach, Mike D'Antoni, quit last week, I believe, and since then they've won 3 in a row. And I think Jeremy Lin's last game against the Indiana Pacers, he scored 19 points. So, he's actually, there's more buzz around him now than there was a couple weeks ago, especially in China. It was a trending topic yesterday on the Chinese social media sites. Having said that, I think even if he trails off a little bit in the U.S., if the Linsanity dies down elsewhere in the world, I think he's probably, it's a fair bet that he's always going to be a bit of a celebrity in China, simply because he's, unlike Yao Ming, an accessible sports star. I mean, he's human-sized at 6'3" versus Yao Ming, who is way over 7 feet tall. And a lot of people in China who are basketball fans have come out and said, this is a guy we can sort of model ourselves after. So I think his celebrity in China will probably continue for quite some time. And I think that for Volvo to sign him up is probably a good idea.
Okay, thanks very much to Josh Chin, China Real-Time editor. I'm Deborah. You're watching Asia Today.